The rhombifer has a keen sense of smell, and right now, it's picking up the scent of hutia. In Cuba, there's a tree-dwelling rat that grows as big as a house cat. But taking refuge in a tree doesn't ensure the hutia is safe. Not when a Cuban croc is close and equipped with a body engineered to jump. The croc's tail accounts for 30% of its body mass. It begins to thrash. When the strike occurs, it has all the muscle and form of an Olympic dive. Rocketing straight out of the water to heights of 6 feet, a croc can snatch animals from trees. If they can get a push off with their feet, they use it. But the real power behind the leap is bioengineering in the tail. The tail vertebrae are connected by ball and socket joints, permitting maximum range of movement. A system of muscles running from the skull to the tip of the tail creates a single drive chain capable of tremendous coordinated power. It all works to turn this croc into a toothy torpedo. In the swamps where they live, the supply of fish is unreliable. Perhaps the Cuban croc's propensity for leaping and their adaptations for moving with agility on land allowed them to expand the menu. Some of nature's most arresting moments are caught up with the hunt. Locate, launch, capture. But for most animals further down the food chain, the name of the game is defense. A whole host of behaviors and body design has developed to try to stay alive. For all their prowess as hunters, jungle snakes have enemies too. So some of their weaponry is defensive, designed to ward off an attack before it's too late. But sometimes the best way to fight is flight. One snake has become a consummate escape artist. The paradise tree snake lives in Southeast Asian rainforests. Among their adversaries is the sharp-clawed yellow monitor lizard, an accomplished snake hunter. While the tree snake can miraculously scale even vertical tree trunks, it would be hard-pressed to compete with the monitor's climbing agility. What's more, the canopy isn't continuous. Wide gaps between the trees prevent an easy getaway. But paradise snakes have found a better way. When face to face at the moment of danger, tree snakes make use of a truly remarkable defensive weapon, worthy of James Bond's ejector seat. The moment of danger has turned into a moment of flight. To really understand this pilot's technique, it's best to start at the launch. Tree snakes will move down a branch end and beyond, falling into a J-shaped bend, leaning into the incline as if determining a destination. But once it's in the air, how does an animal with an inner tube for a body transform itself aerodynamically? After launching, it sucks in its guts and flares its ribs to make a U-shaped wing. Increasing its size adds to air resistance. But are these snakes doing anything more than falling with style? In super slow motion, their flight is even more spectacular than thought. The body flattens down to but a ribbon. And they appear to be assuming a degree of control, undulating as if swimming, holding the tail upwards and twisting from side to side for balance. Literally, snaking through the air may help it achieve some steering and sail distances of 300 feet. It may have to endure a hard landing, but at least its pursuer has been left on the other side of the canopy. Sometimes the best defense is the opposite of escape. Staging an elaborate charade in plain sight is a way of avoiding the moment of impact. Nature has given the red-eyed tree frog a number of techniques to protect itself. First, it's vibrantly colored to fool predators into thinking it's a poisonous frog. It's not highly toxic, only mimicking the markings of dangerous species like the poison dart frog. Predators that have learned to avoid the lethal frogs will also bypass an imposter. Still, this may not deter a hungry snake. If it is in danger, the tree frog changes strategy. By opening its bright red eyes and showing its bright blue sides, it can confuse an adversary for a split second, just long enough for the frog to try to flee. And for a final trick, a cloak of invisibility. With closed eyes and folded legs, a tree frog is comfortably concealed in plain sight on a tropical leaf. While jungle animals use visual displays and camouflage to get by during daytime hours, when the night shift takes over, it's a whole different story. In the dark, sound is the means by which hunter and hunted compete. And one creature in Central American rainforests takes sound to an entirely new level. Bats are the only mammals with wings and the capacity for true flight. Combine that with an onboard sonar system, and the result, a moment of aerial impact. It may seem bizarre, but eating and sleeping upside down works perfectly for bats. Once their feet are locked, they don't need muscle power to hold on to the roost. At the onset of dusk, a frog-eating bat's long horn-like ears are poised and listening. But how do they detect, locate, and capture a target lying low in a terrain full of branches and vines. Bats send out pulses of sound waves to echo against the terrain. A muscle in the middle ear is synchronized to contract the eardrum during each brief pulse so it only hears the echo. As the sound travels outward, it impacts objects and bounces back, helping the bat avoid collisions and locate prey. The sound of frogs fills the night. To attract a female, the Mexican white-lipped frog makes a series of chirping sounds. It's risky behavior. In competition with other male frogs, the vocalizations increase, making the frogs more conspicuous, not only to females, but to predators too. The fringed-lipped bat has evolved its hearing to specifically tune into the calls of the white-lipped frogs. It's locking on to an auditory target. And when bats want to fly, they drop free from the roost using gravity to assist them. As it hunts, its broad but flexible wings work like human arms and hands, almost swimming through the air. The wing membrane is actually skin extending from the body. It's thin, but tough and flexible, and if torn, heals fast. When bats are foraging, frogs try to stay hidden or reduce their calls to a brief low-frequency rumble. But once it's detected a target, this graceful flyer can swoop low and even hover while its sharp teeth spear the prey. After capturing a meal this big, a bat returns to a roost to consume it at its own pace. $86,400. That's how many seconds there are ticking away each day. Most pass unexceptionally. But every now and then, there's a moment. Often the split second between life and death, when creatures are tested to their very core. Nature is always finding new ways of adapting the equipment, and we're beginning to be able to keep up with it, going inside the moment with these creatures to finally see how it all works.